Welcome to Amaravati, today's daily global news roundup, where we bring you the latest and most significant news from around the world, right to your fingertips. Stay informed, stay connected. Japan and US navies strengthen alliance with bilateral exercise in south of Okinawa. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, JMSDF, and the US Navy, USN, are currently engaged in a bilateral exercise aimed at bolstering the Japan-US alliance's capabilities for effective deterrence and response. The objectives of this exercise include enhancing the JMSDF's tactical capabilities and improving interoperability between the JMSDF and the USN. Running from January 29 to February 1, the exercise takes place in the waters south of Okinawa. Several units are participating in this joint effort, with the JMSDF represented by JSISE, and the USN contributing vessels such as USS Carl Vinson, USS Theodore Roosevelt, USS Lake Erie, USS Princeton, USS Daniel Inouye, USS Dewey, USS John Finn, USS Halsey, USS Rafael Peralta, USS Sterett, and USS William P. Lawrence. The exercise primarily focuses on tactical training, including activities like cross-deck, link-X, and photo-X, to enhance the preparedness and cooperation of both naval forces. China enhances Antarctic presence with new helipad at 5th Research Station. China has initiated the construction of a helipad at its 5th Antarctic Scientific Research Station, situated along the Ross Sea coastline. The project began on January 31, with the helipad expected to cover an area exceeding 1,100 square meters, designed to accommodate 2 helicopters simultaneously. The decision to build the helipad stems from the distinct geographical challenges presented by Antarctica. Due to its unique environment, there is a substantial need for helicopter usage in the region, making a helipad an essential infrastructure requirement for all scientific research stations in Antarctica. China's commitment to expanding its presence and capabilities in Antarctica underscores the growing importance of scientific research and exploration in the region, where various nations are engaged in studying the effects of climate change and understanding the continent's ecosystems. The helipad will enhance logistical support for scientific endeavors in this challenging environment. European Parliament President stresses €50 billion for Ukraine support as crucial for European security. European Parliament President Roberta Metsola emphasized the importance of providing support to Ukraine during her address at the Special European Council in Brussels. She expressed satisfaction with the recently reached deal for predictable medium-term financial support for Ukraine, emphasizing that this support would aid in the country's recovery, reconstruction, and reform, ultimately facilitating its path towards European Union membership. Metsola stressed that backing Ukraine is not only a matter of supporting their country but also a vital component of European security. She reminded the Council of their commitment made 2 years ago to offer comprehensive support to Ukraine, encompassing political, humanitarian, economic, diplomatic, military, and financial assistance. Regarding military aid, Metsola called for a swift agreement on the assistance fund for Ukraine to ensure consistent funding from the European Peace Facility for Ukraine's military requirements. She also highlighted the urgent need for financial support, emphasizing that Ukraine's dwindling funds could either assist the Russian aggressor or exacerbate inflation. The approval of the €50 billion Ukraine facility and a revision of the long-term budget were cited as essential actions to fulfill the commitment to Ukraine and European citizens. Russian poll reveals 81% believe Russian women are the most beautiful in the world. A recent poll conducted by the Russian Public Opinion Research Center, VCIOM, reveals that a significant majority of Russians believe Russian women are the most beautiful in the world, with approximately 81% expressing this view, up from 76% in 2013. The survey, conducted in January 2024, involved 1,600 Russian citizens over the age of 18 through telephone interviews using stratified random sampling. The data also showed that 11% of young Russian women aged 18 to 24 aspire to participate in beauty contests, while a notable 70% of Russian men are open to the idea of their partners taking part in such contests. Furthermore, the survey highlighted that over half of the respondents, 55%, were uninterested in beauty contests, while 29% had a positive opinion of them, and 15% disapproved of such events. Russian women predominantly see beauty pageants as a path to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, 47%, while 26% believe participants aim for an ego boost. Over the last 11 years, these contests have become more associated with personal career ambitions rather than earning money or finding a wealthy spouse. Russian defense sector grows with over 500,000 new hires since military operation. Since the start of Russia's special military operation, more than 500,000 new employees have been hired by the country's defense companies, according to Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Denis Lysigorsky. Speaking at the Everything for Victory forum, Lysigorsky highlighted the significant increase in salaries for these workers, thanks in part to the Defense Ministry's support. He also noted that one major defense plant had expanded its workforce from 4,800 to 19,500 over the past year. Additionally, the average age of workers in the defense industry is decreasing, indicating a trend toward attracting younger talent to the sector. These developments underscore the growth and importance of Russia's defense industry during the ongoing military operation. Azerbaijani President Aliyev highlights de facto peace with Armenia, emphasizes treaty and territorial resolutions. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev has stated that there is a de facto peace between Baku and Yerevan, as the situation on the border has remained peaceful in recent months. However, Aliyev emphasized that a formal peace treaty has yet to be signed to bring this process to a conclusive end, and Armenia must abandon its territorial claims towards Azerbaijan. He suggested that for lasting peace, Armenia should amend its constitution and other legal documents that call for adding Azerbaijan's Karabakh region to Armenia, thus violating Azerbaijan's territorial integrity. Aliyev praised the internal discussions in Armenia about amending the constitution as a positive step that could expedite the peace process. The conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh saw a ceasefire brokered by Russia in November 2020. But a formal peace treaty has not been signed yet. India's DRDO achieves milestone with successful green propulsion system test in space. India has achieved a significant milestone in space defense technology with the successful in-orbit functionality demonstration of a green propulsion system developed under DRDO's Technology Development Fund (TDF) scheme. The project involved the development of a 1N-class green monopropellant thruster for altitude control and orbit maintenance of microsatellites. It was undertaken by the Bengaluru-based startup Bilateral Aerospace Private Limited. The telemetry data from the PSLV Orbital Experimental Module, POEM, at ISRO Telemetry, Tracking, and Command Network, ISTRAC, in Bengaluru has validated the system's performance, exceeding all parameters. This innovation offers a non-toxic and environmentally friendly propulsion system for low Earth orbit space missions. It includes indigenous components like propellant, valves, catalyst beds, drive electronics, and more, making it suitable for missions with high thrust requirements. The Technology Development Fund, TDF, is a Ministry of Defense initiative executed by DRDO under the Make in India program, providing funding for innovation in defense and aerospace, particularly for startups and MSMEs. India's interim budget allocates over 6.21 rupees lakh crore to defense, prioritizing modernization and self-reliance. The interim union budget for 2024-25 has allocated over 6.21 rupees lakh crore to the Ministry of Defense, marking an increase of 4.72% compared to the previous fiscal year. Within this budget, 1.72 rupees lakh crore, equivalent to 27.67% of the total defense budget, is allocated for capital acquisition. The budget for revenue expenditure, excluding salary, stands at 92,088 rupees crore. Additionally, the allocation for defense pensions has been increased to 1.41 rupees lakh crore. The budget also includes 6,500 rupees crore for strengthening border infrastructure and 7,651.80 rupees crore for the Indian Coast Guard. The Defence Research and Development Organisation, DRDO, receives an allocation of 23,855 rupees crore, with a significant portion dedicated to capital expenditure. Furthermore, a Rs 1 lakh crore corpus has been established for deep tech for long-term loans to youth and companies. This budget reflects the government's commitment to promoting self-reliance, enhancing defense capabilities, and bolstering infrastructure and innovation in the defense sector. India approves bilateral investment treaty with UAE to boost investor confidence and economic growth. The Indian government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has received approval from the Union Cabinet to sign and ratify a bilateral investment treaty between India and the United Arab Emirates, UAE. This treaty is anticipated to enhance investor confidence, particularly among major investors, potentially leading to an uptick in foreign investments and overseas direct investment (ODI) opportunities. This, in turn, could have a positive impact on employment generation. The approval is seen as a step towards increasing investments in India and aligns with the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, by promoting domestic manufacturing, reducing import dependence, and boosting exports. This bilateral agreement reflects the commitment of both nations to strengthening economic ties and fostering a conducive environment for investments, ultimately contributing to economic growth and self-sufficiency. Iran and Russia discuss fast-tracking Rashtrastara Railway construction for key international transport route. Iran and Russia have held discussions in Moscow to expedite the construction of the Rashtrastara Railway. Iranian Deputy Minister of Roads and Urban Development Abbas Katibi Safari met with Russian officials, including Presidential aide Igor Levitin and Deputy Minister of Transport Dmitry Zverev, during his visit to attend the first BRICS representatives meeting of 2024. Both countries expressed the need to accelerate the Rashtrastara Railway project, with Iranian officials urging the resolution of remaining issues for the executive contract signing. Russian authorities emphasized the importance of removing obstacles in the project's construction and highlighted expert-level talks with their Iranian counterparts. The Rashtrastara Railway, valued at $1.6 billion, was agreed upon on May 17, 2023. It aims to connect Rasht, near the Caspian Sea, to Astara on the Azerbaijan border, enabling rail freight transport from the Persian Gulf to Helsinki, Finland, through Russia's St. Petersburg, within the International North-South Transport Corridor, INSTC. East Africa gears up for Justified Accord 24, the region's largest multinational military exercise. The final planning event for Justified Accord 24, East Africa's largest combined joint military exercise, took place in Nairobi, Kenya, from January 22 to 26, 2024. Hosted by the Kenyan Defense Forces, the exercise is led by the U.S. Army Southern European Task Force, Africa, SETAF, and will occur from February 26 to March 7, 2024. Approximately 1,000 participants from over 20 nations will participate. The planning event brought together planners from various countries, including the UK, the Netherlands, Italy, the United States, and Kenya, who collaborated extensively to finalize the details of multinational field training and live-fire events. Justified Accord 24 will include diverse scenarios and challenges aimed at providing a realistic training environment. Nairobi-based activities will include discussions on women, peace, and security, rule of law workshops, humanitarian operations, and a K-9 tactical combat casualty care exchange. The exercise will focus on increasing interoperability among multiple African units and will include combined maritime exercises with Cutlass Express in Mombasa. The planners aim to provide a common, challenging experience to enhance readiness and promote multinational collaboration. U.S. Special Operations and international allies conduct jungle warfare training to support UN mission in Africa. U.S. Special Operations Command Africa, in collaboration with international allies from Brazil and the UK, recently conducted jungle warfare (JW) training in Salima, Malawi, with the Malawian Defense Force. The training concluded on October 20, 2023, and aimed to prepare Malawian forces for their upcoming deployment to the United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. This training was part of the Department of State's Global Peace Operations Initiative. The jungle warfare training comprised 2 sessions, with the first focusing on honing collective tactical skills through field exercises. The second session took place in Mzuzu, Malawi, replicating the jungle terrain of the DRC to further refine tactical movement, land navigation, and special procedures. The collaboration between US, Brazilian, and UK advisors and the Malawian Defense Forces demonstrates international efforts to enhance security conditions in Africa. The training reinforces Malawian readiness for their UN deployment and underscores the commitment of partner nations to support peace and stability in the region. US delegation led by Ambassador Fick gathers in Singapore to bolster digital cooperation with ASEAN. Ambassador-at-Large for Cyberspace and Digital Policy, Nathaniel C. Fick, is leading a U.S. delegation to the 4th ASEAN Digital Ministers Meetings, ADMIN, in Singapore from February 1 to 2, 2024. This delegation also includes U.S. Ambassador to ASEAN Johannes Abraham and Deputy Assistant Secretary for International Information and Communications Policy, Steve Lang. Ambassador Fick and Deputy Assistant Secretary Lang will focus on the extensive collaboration within the US-ASEAN Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Key topics for discussion include the digital economy, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. During the meetings, the US delegation will engage with representatives from ASEAN member states and dialogue partners to address digital cooperation in areas such as trusted information and communications technology infrastructure, cybersecurity, and digital regulation. Deputy Assistant Secretary Lang will additionally meet with industry leaders and academics to underscore the U.S. commitment to the region and a multi-stakeholder approach to digital and cyber issues. The delegation will highlight the digital economy's vital role in ensuring a secure and prosperous ASEAN region for the benefit of its 1 billion inhabitants. U.S. delegation led by Ambassador Fick gathers in Singapore to bolster digital cooperation with ASEAN. Ambassador-at-Large for Cyberspace and Digital Policy, Nathaniel C. Fick, is leading a U.S. delegation to the 4th ASEAN Digital Ministers Meetings, ADMIN, in Singapore from February 1 to 2, 2024. This delegation also includes U.S. Ambassador to ASEAN Johannes Abraham and Deputy Assistant Secretary for International Information and Communications Policy, Steve Lang. Ambassador Fick and Deputy Assistant Secretary Lang will focus on the extensive collaboration within the US-ASEAN Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Key topics for discussion include the digital economy, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. During the meetings, the U.S. delegation will engage with representatives from ASEAN member states and dialogue partners to address digital cooperation in areas such as trusted information and communications technology infrastructure, cybersecurity, and digital regulation. Deputy Assistant Secretary Lang will additionally meet with industry leaders and academics to underscore the U.S. commitment to the region and a multi-stakeholder approach to digital and cyber issues. The delegation will highlight the digital economy's vital role in ensuring a secure and prosperous ASEAN region for the benefit of its 1 billion inhabitants. International leaders condemn Myanmar military's atrocities on 3rd anniversary of coup. A joint statement by the High Representative on behalf of the European Union and foreign ministers from Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, Republic of Korea, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States marks the grim 3-year anniversary of the military coup in Myanmar. Since February 1, 2021, when the military overthrew the democratically elected government, Myanmar has witnessed a distressing surge in violence against civilians, leading to thousands being jailed, tortured, and killed. Airstrikes, arson, and shelling have ravaged civilian infrastructure, displacing 2.6 million people and pushing more than 18 million into dire need. The statement strongly condemns the ongoing atrocities by the military regime, including sexual and gender-based violence, and the suppression of fundamental freedoms like freedom of expression. It calls for an immediate end to violence, the release of political prisoners, humanitarian access, and inclusive dialogue with stakeholders. The international community supports ASEAN's efforts to resolve the crisis and calls for the implementation of ASEAN's 5-point consensus. They also urge the UN to appoint a special envoy and provide humanitarian aid while discontinuing arms support to the Myanmar military. Despite 3 years of turmoil, solidarity with Myanmar's quest for an inclusive democracy remains steadfast. US imposes sanctions on Sudanese entities fueling conflict and obstructing peace efforts. The United States has taken decisive action by designating 3 Sudanese entities involved in financing and securing resources for the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, and the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Zadna International Co. for Development Limited, a crucial part of SAF's commercial operations, has been identified as facilitating fund laundering for the SAF. Al-Farka Advanced Works Company Limited serves as a holding company for the RSF's gold exports, contributing substantial funds to the RSF's war efforts. Additionally, Al-Khalij Bank Company Limited has played a pivotal role in financing RSF's operations. These entities have been detrimental to Sudan's peace, security, and stability, despite their obligations to protect civilians and implement a ceasefire. The United States is committed to using available tools to put an end to the ongoing conflict, ensure accountability, and support the Sudanese people in their pursuit of freedom, peace, and justice. These actions are taken in accordance with Executive Order 14098, which targets individuals and entities destabilizing Sudan and hindering the country's democratic transition. U.S. Acting Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland reaffirms support for Ukraine's democracy and visits wounded veterans in Kiev. Acting Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland embarked on a significant trip to Kiev, Ukraine, on January 31, underscoring the United States' unwavering commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity amidst the ongoing conflict with Russia. During her visit, she engaged in discussions with senior Ukrainian government officials to reinforce this support. In a poignant moment, Nuland also visited a USAID-funded wounded veteran rehabilitation center, where she bore witness to the human cost of nearly 2 years of conflict. She heard first-hand accounts of the tragic toll exacted by the fighting and the remarkable bravery of the Ukrainian people, who remain resolute in their struggle for a brighter future. This visit signifies the United States' continued solidarity with Ukraine and serves as a testament to the resilience and determination of the Ukrainian population in the face of adversity. Thank you for tuning in to Amaravati today's daily global roundup. Globe showing Europe Africa, we appreciate you joining us on this journey through the world's latest stories and updates. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Your support means the world, and we look forward to bringing you more engaging content in the days to come. Thank you for being a part of the Amaravati Today community.